Hello, hello, hello. I am your host, OCL, and welcome back to One Century Later. Today, we'll be taking a look at all events from June 1st to June 7th, 1925. As with last week, all of my sources are in the description down below. Monday, June 1st, 1925. The U.S. Supreme Court's landmark decision, Pierce v. Society of Sisters, was rendered in a 9-0 decision. The decision struck down the Oregon Compulsory Education Act, which had made public school attendance compulsory for 18 to 16-year-olds. Justice James McReynolds wrote the majority opinion and stated the due process clause in the 14th Amendment extended to the right of parents and guardians to choose how their children would get an education. Also on this day, after 6 days of repair to N-25, Roald Amundsen and his crew attempted to take off using their makeshift runway they had been chipping into the ice. However, the takeoff attempt had to be aborted when the ice under the seaplane sagged, causing water to splash against the plane's skin, which added to the drag on the seaplane, preventing it from taking off. New York Yankees professional baseball player Lou Gehrig began his record-breaking 2,130 consecutive games played. His record would stand until the 1990s, when Cal Ripken Jr. set the current record at 2,632 consecutive games. And finally, on this day, the newspaper Devar began publication in the British Mandate of Palestine. Tuesday, June 2nd, 1925. The Philippines held election for their House of Representatives and Senate. The Nacionalista Consolidado Party won 64 of the 92 seats in the House of Representatives and won 13 of the 24 seats in the Senate, claiming the majority in both chambers. Following the previous day's failed takeoff attempt, Roald Amundsen and his crew attempted another takeoff. However, much like the previous attempt, the slushy ice around the seaplane created too much drag, and the attempt had to be aborted. Wednesday, June 3rd, 1925. Elections were held for the Tasmanian House of Assembly. Of the 30 seats in the House, the Labour Party won 16, claiming the majority. Thursday, June 4th, 1925. The Banco Venezolano de Crédito was founded in Caracas, Venezuela. It is the oldest private bank in Venezuela and helped introduce the credit system to South America. Also on this day, Francis Russell of Ohio shot to death 8 of his relatives, including his mother, his brother, and his brother's wife. Russell believed there was an eviction notice on their house as he was unable to pay the $1,600 mortgage. Russell was declared clinically insane and sent to the Lima State Hospital for the criminally insane. He would remain there for the rest of his life until he died in 1943. Friday, June 5th, 1925. The Progressive Republican Party in Turkey was closed by council rule after it was determined that the party supported the policies of the Sheikh Saad rebellion, which had taken place in early February. The leader of the party, Kazım Karabekir, and 82 other members of the party were arrested. Also on this day, following the death of Maharaja Madho Scindia of the state of Gwalior in British India, his son Jiwajirao Scindia became the Maharaja of Gwalior. He would rule over Gwalior until 1948, when it was absorbed into the Indian state of Madhya Pradesh. Saturday, June 6th, 1925. The Great Syrian Revolt began when members of the Jabal Druze state were mistreated by the French ambassadors of the French Mandate of Syria. Delegates of the Druze state traveled to Beirut in the French Mandate of Lebanon to request that a Druze governor replace the current French governor of the Jabal Druze state, Governor Karbelé. Without listening to their request, the French officials ordered the delegation to leave or risk being arrested and exiled. Norway sent out a search party consisting of 2 planes and 2 steamships to find Roald Amundsen and his crew, who had been missing for over 2 weeks. Also on this day, Sergei Prokofiev's Symphony No. 2 in D minor premiered for the first time in Paris. Sunday, June 7th, 1925. German Wilhelm Bruckner murdered 9 of his family members, including his pregnant ex-wife, his mother, his sister's husband, and all 5 of his sister's children, overnight before committing suicide himself. Bruckner had believed his ex-wife and his brother-in-law were having an affair. And that is all. See you next week for all events from Monday, June 8th, 1925 to Sunday, June 14th, 1925.